This week I've been driving the all-new 2022 Infiniti QX60, and if you're like, Adam, I've seen a couple of reviews of the Infiniti QX60 from you before, you're absolutely correct. We've driven two different autograph QX60s. This one is a step below. This one is the Sensory trim. So you have the pure, the Luxe, the Sensory, and the autograph. Again, this is the Sensory. Let's get into it. So although we reviewed it before and some of the information is going to be redundant if you did see those videos, there are things on the autograph trim that you don't get in this, and there are some surprising things that you do get in this that are also available on the autograph trim, which makes this a really good deal. And I always say in my videos, I would love to drive lower trims and see how that works out, because the high trims obviously are really great vehicles with all the tech, but also a huge price tag. This is a little bit of a step down, still really nice with not as huge of a price tag. So it'll be closer to what the majority of people actually buy. So I'm excited to show you guys around what I really like about it, any gripes that I'd have on it. And after driving both trims, we'll see which one I like more and would recommend more. But let's start off this whole review talking about the exterior design. All right, and first off, let's just talk about this new exterior design. Obviously, we've covered it with the other trims. The design is a new, bigger, bolder design. A little bit more boxy, but still has those rounded edges that definitely make this an Infiniti. You've got that large Infiniti grille with the big chrome surround and that Infiniti logo right there in front. We've got super detailed, nice LED headlights. No fog lights on this one, but you've got nice sculpted cutouts in that front bumper. And the front skid plate is a chrome looking design. Our side mirrors are half body color, half gloss black. They are power folding, but they do not power fold on lock. You have to hit a button inside. The wheels on this one are 20-inch aluminum alloy wheels. Nice design, running some all-season tires. We've got aluminum roof rails, which look really good with this maroon color. Our door handles are chrome. You've got that chrome strip along the bottom. Moving around to the back, nice LED taillights. And you've got the QX60 badge here, the all-wheel drive badge, because this is an all-wheel drive version. And then your dual exhaust ports. And before we open up that hatch and show you the cargo volume, let's go ahead and talk about the full size of this vehicle. Obviously, no different than the other trims we drove. You get a wheelbase of 114.2 inches. The full length is 198.2 inches. Width is 86 inches. Height is 69.7 inches, and you get a 6.7 inch ground clearance. All right, and with that, let's go ahead and pop this hatch. There's a button back here to pop it. Power lifting hatch, still on the Sensory trim. And much like the autograph trim, you get a decent amount of space back here, but not a ton. 14.5 cubic feet behind that third row seating. So again, not a ton. There are definitely SUVs out there, even 3-row SUVs, that's gonna give you way more cargo volume. You can fold that third row down, and you're looking at 41.6 cubic feet. And you can fold that second row down, and that'll get you 75.4 cubic feet. With that, let's take a look at the engine, and then we'll jump inside and start taking a look at the interior. All right, and under the hood, no matter what trim you get a 3.5 liter V6 naturally aspirated engine. This is not one of the turbocharged variable compression engines that Infiniti has. It pushes 295 horsepower, 270 foot-pounds of torque, and is matched up to the 9-speed automatic transmission. And yes, it has the automatic transmission, not a CVT. Definitely a good decision on that. Obviously, we've driven it before. It makes the right kind of power. It's got the right gear shifting and everything. Really good setup in this vehicle. With that, let's go ahead and take a look at the interior, and then we'll get it out on the road. All right, and one of the best things about the Infiniti QX60 is the way that you can get into the third row. It's a super simple push of a button down on the seat. You push it, it goes up and folds forward. This gives you a ton of room to get in and out. The only downside in this vehicle, as you'll see though, is there's just not a ton of room back here. You can move the middle seats up a bit to give more leg room to the third row, but then that starts confining the second row. So unless you're putting small children back here, I wouldn't use it as a third row. Basically the same thing that I've said about the other trims that I've driven. But if you are putting kids back here, you can make it work and it can be decent. You do get your own cup holders and USB charging back here, and the materials are nice. It's decently comfortable for a third row. I'm not going to climb back there, but let me show you the second row. All right, and here in the second row, obviously decent amount of headroom, lots of knee and foot room, especially with these seats all the way back. Again, you can move them up a little bit and restrict yourself a bit, giving more room to the rear seats. You also get your own AC and heat controls back here, and you get a USB type A and a USB type C port, as well as a 120 volt house type plug. And overall, the second row seating is really good, nice and comfortable. Lots of amenities for the second row. We even have the panoramic sunroof that comes all the way back to the second row, which is a nice feature even on this Sensory. But let's go ahead and jump into the front seat, the driver's seat, look at the rest of the interior and the tech in here, and then we'll take it for a drive. All right, we're here in the driver's seat. Let's go ahead and kick it on, take a look around the rest of the interior and the tech, and then we'll keep this review moving. Starting off with the fact that this is a push button start. And let's start off with the Infiniti screen. It is a 12.3 inch display, just like in the Autograph that we drove. So not much different here. Just like I mentioned in that review, I think the UX, the interface here is a bit ugly for what I would consider a luxury vehicle to have, but it is pretty new for both Nissan and Infiniti. So over the years, I hope they update it and give at least the Infiniti a better look and more functionality. You do get Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and some nice features overall. Directly below that is some vents in this nice little cutout here in between the leather dash. Then you get a lot more of your AC and heat controls down here, including your heated and cooled seats, heated steering wheel. The seats in this thing are also massaging seats, which is again really great for this trim level. You can see that we have the dual climate control, and all of this is the exact same that you would get in that Autograph. Moving down further, again, you've got your push button start. This is for your drive modes. You've got a couple of different drive modes, a sport mode, a personal, an auto, and an eco mode. Then you have your button to turn off the auto shut off on the vehicle, a button you might hit pretty often, although the auto shut off on this isn't as invasive as it is in other vehicles. We have our full electronic gear shifter here, so push in the side, push up for reverse. Of course, we still have the full 360 camera, rear view camera, 360 camera. Continuing back is our electronic parking brake, auto hold, and this will help interface with your infotainment system here, including a button to turn those cameras on even if you don't put the car in reverse. Right back here is a wireless charger for your phone. You can wirelessly charge. There's also a USB type A and USB type C charging port back there. And the Apple CarPlay is also wireless Apple CarPlay, so you can have it wirelessly playing as well as wirelessly charging. Then of course your cup holders and your armrest here. Nice padded leather armrest. And it's a pretty good size with, again, another charger down there and an accessory port charger. Moving on to the leather wrap steering wheel, black leather, white stitching, matches a little bit of the dash at the top, but again, it's your standard Infiniti steering wheel, standard controls here, including your ProPilot, which we'll talk about as we drive the vehicle. Behind the steering wheel is a 12.3 inch display, And this is a full digital display that I quite like. Gives you a lot of great information, easy to see, easy to read, easy to thumb through different pages from your steering wheel and see the different features available here, including obviously seeing our average miles per gallon, which is 22.1. We'll talk more about as we drive. And on the Autograph, we had a head-up display. It's a nice head-up display, but in the Sensory trim, that is one of the things that you don't get here in the Sensory that I would have liked to have, but you don't get it on the Sensory trim. Another thing that we don't have on this vehicle that we did have on the Autograph trims is back here in the back seats that I forgot to mention while we were in the second row, and that is captain's chairs. So the Autograph had the captain's chairs third row. This has the bench third row. So it is a 3 wide back here, which allows you to fit an extra person and is arguably the better option for families, depending on how many people you're carrying on a regular basis. We also do have the Bose Performance 17 speaker audio system in here, and it's really good. Same system that we had in the Autograph. So again, another check mark for the Sensory. So overall, just a really great interior, especially for families and family driving. But let's get this thing out on the road, talk about the driving of the vehicle, and then we'll talk about the price, competition, some of my final thoughts, and start wrapping this video up. But let's get to driving. So first off, it should be no surprise, this thing is incredibly comfortable and smooth on the road, just like the Autograph. Really driving this has no different feeling than driving the Autograph that I drove. The biggest difference there is not having a head-up display. But other than that, I have cooled seats, I have heated seats, I have heated steering wheel, I have a massaging seat. I've got the same screen, the same digital driver information display, just a ton of the features that you would want, but some of the extra tech and luxuries you don't get. But other than that, it drives just like any other QX60 that I've driven, which is a really good thing, especially with that new power plant, that 3.5 liter V6 with the 9-speed automatic transmission. It not only makes it more enjoyable to drive day to day, especially in traffic, but if you need to actually get up and get on it, it can do that. It does have a sport mode. You don't really need it in this vehicle. I've basically left it in auto the entire week and have been just fine. MPG numbers here are 21, 25, 21 city, 25 highway. And as you saw earlier, we're averaging just over 21. And we've done mostly city driving, although we have done some highway driving in this thing. So to me, that's a really good number, but is consistent with all the trim levels that I've driven. You also do have 6,000 pounds of towing, just like in the Autograph. So if you wanted to tow a smaller boat, a smaller trailer, this thing should be able to do it with relative ease. I obviously haven't had the chance to tow anything with it, but I have no doubt that it could at least do a decent job. This does have the same intelligent all-wheel drive that we've had, and while this one isn't an off-roader like the Pathfinder might be, you could do a little bit off-road if you're doing camping or something like that, but mainly it's going to keep you and your family safe in those slippery situations. And of course, you have the Pro Pilot Assist, the same that we've had on the other QX60s, other Infiniti vehicles, other Nissan vehicles. It does really well, keeps you in the lane well, senses the cars in front of you. You can keep up to speed with them, just set your cruise control, and it'll keep you a certain distance behind the vehicle in front of you. Like I said, keep you in your lane. You've got front and rear sensors, so as you're coming up to an object, your camera will turn on, so it makes parking easy. Same thing in the rear, you've got sensors back there, so as you put it to reverse, your cameras come on and your sensors will beep for you to let you know how close to something you are. Let's go jump up on the highway real quick. We'll hit the Pro Pilot button, show you a little bit of the self-driving, and then we'll pull back over, talk about the price and competition, and we'll wrap up this video. All right, let's jump on the highway right here. Like I said, the power out of this engine, just fine. Getting up on the highway, switching lanes, everything like that is done easily. with the power offered from this V6. But let's do what we came here to do. Let's hit the Pro Pilot button there. We'll set the cruise. We'll increase our speed here. So we are now locked onto the vehicle in front of us. We don't have lanes yet, so it's not controlling the lane keeping assist. Steering assist is on. Okay, so we had to turn on steering assist. We've got the Pro Pilot engaged. We've got the cruise control engaged, and now it is steering for us. It's telling me to keep my hands on the wheel. We're locked into the car in front of us, which is going super slow on the highway. So we'll just make a maneuver to pass them, and it locks back on, and the car has control. We'll keep you in the lane just fine. We'll keep you behind the car in front of you just fine. It will tell you to keep your hands on the steering wheel every so often, but definitely one of the better lane keeping assist systems out there right now. And every year just gets better. This one does use satellite navigation to help, but that's been a feature for a couple of years now. And you can hear every time I switch lanes, when it re-gets those lanes, it will let you know. And again, if you saw my QX60 autograph video, it's no different, but it's a feature always worth showing off. All right, guys, and let's quickly talk about the price here. The base pure, so the base of the base, the cheapest you can get into a QX60 is $46,850. This is the Sensory, so it's 2 trims up from the pure, and its base price is $58,000. Our total MSRP in this vehicle is only $60,000, or $59 and some change, and basically the only thing added there is this maroon paint is like a $900 option, and then the destination charge. The autograph that we drove had an MSRP of $69,000, so about $9,000 to $10,000 cheaper for this, which with everything that you're getting here is a good price. Things that you can compare it to, things like the Acura MDX, the Buick Enclave, the Lexus RX, and the Genesis GV80. All of those really great vehicles. That Genesis is really nice. But let me jump back out. I'll give you some of my final thoughts here, and then we'll wrap up the video there. Let's do this. All right, and after driving and reviewing the autograph twice, and now the Sensory for a full week, I still really like the QX60. If I had to choose, I'd probably go with the Sensory. You're saving a little bit of money, but you're still getting all the tech that really matters. I think the only thing that this didn't have that I would really want is that head-up display, but I could definitely live without it for a family vehicle. Again, this thing now has a lot of competition out there, so there's definitely a lot that you could be looking at, and I really do like the Acura. I really do like that Genesis. And you could look at things that don't even necessarily compete with this completely, like the Telluride or the Palisade. Both really great 3-row SUVs for families, even though they're not technically in the luxury segment like this is. But let's face it, some of those are just as nice and get to close to the same price tag as this. But if you're looking for a 3-row semi-luxury family SUV, I can definitely recommend the QX60. Just like always. So I hope I answered any questions that you had here. If you've got any other questions that I did not answer, please leave them down in the comments below, and I'll try to address those in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the thumbs up button. It helps out a lot. Subscribe to the channel if you're into automotive reviews. We do one every week. Also go check out txgarage.com for more written reviews, as well as event and news coverage from a lot of great authors over there. And with that, guys, thanks for watching.